The Daily Code Snippet. So let's look at a link using an absolute URL first. It would look like this. href equals https://www.websitename.com in quotation marks, link text, and the a closing tag. You would use the link element a, and the attribute href would be used to specify where you're going. So in the case of going to another website, you will have to put the absolute URL, which is the full website address. So it includes the http:/ or https:/ prefix. The text that is in between the a opening tag and the a closing tag would be the text that the viewer sees. Links have a default style to be blue and underlined. So whenever a user clicks on that link text, they will be rerouted to the website in the value of the href attribute. Sometimes you may want to have a link to another page on your website. Perhaps you have your home page, but you want to add an About Us page. In this case, you're going to use a relative URL. Instead of the full website address with the http:// or https://, you just need to tell the browser where to find the file relative to your home page. Browsers recognize the file index.html as the home page. Imagine that you have a folder called Pages, and that folder contains all the other pages to get to the About Us page. You would need to go into the Pages folder and find the About Us page, pages/aboutus.html. The code would look like this. A opening tag, href equal to folder path /filename.filetype in quotation marks, link text, a closing tag. A opening tag, href equals pages/aboutus.html in quotation marks, about us, a closing tag. When you are trying to determine the path, you are trying to map out the location relative to where you are currently. Link within a web page, you are trying to jump from one section of the page to another section. In order to do this, we give sections unique identifiers, and we do this through the use of attributes. So we should take a step back and discuss the class attribute versus the ID attribute. Both class and ID attributes are used when you wish to target a particular element, and you can assign its value. The difference between is that class is used for something that may appear more than once, but ID is used for something that is more unique. Typically, if you have multiple sections on a web page, you would assign a unique ID identifier to each section, such as Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, etc. An example of a class attribute may be that you have a different styling for the lead-in text for an article. So you can create a class called lead-in to which you will add a bold weight and a larger font size. Because you have more than one article, you may have more than one instance of lead-in text, and thus it would be more appropriate for you to have a class rather than ID, because this special styling is not unique. Here is an example of the code. You can see that sections 1 and 2 have ID attributes because they are unique, but the lead-in text has a class because it appears more than once. When trying to target an element with a unique ID, you would add a hashtag in front of the value. So hashtag section 1 to target the section with the ID equals section 1. And for a class, you will add a period. So in our example, to target the lead-in class of text, you would use period lead-in. So if you were to write out a link to go to another section further down the page, you would follow this convention. href equals hashtag name of the ID attribute on the page in quotation marks, link text, a closing tag. href hashtag section 3 in quotation marks, section 3, a closing tag. The example would move you to section 3 when you hit the link text. Presented by Designers Learn Code.